can, so hopefully some of these lights are on them as we come down. If not, we might keep them up here now, but we'll figure that out. But we're going to start with Symphonic Band. They're going to be playing a piece that they worked on with me a little bit. It's been a little bit tricky, honestly, this semester after contest, getting stuff ready, because we took a lot of time off for, you'll see all the people that did solos and ensemble. It was crazy. And then we had a trip that we went on, kind of. It was kind of a big deal, and took some time out of our rehearsal schedules of shipping our instruments off and then waiting for our instruments to get back. So we had a couple weeks without a couple rehearsals that we probably needed to get some more music down. But they've done a really, really good job on getting like some really, Symphonic Band's playing all new music from the spring, from the state large ensemble that they did. So we're going to start with a piece called Endurance, which is a lot of fun. It's kind of got a movie music vibe, and it's got a nice pretty section in the middle. So this is Endurance. Xander's going to get his steps in, turning on the house lights so you can see all of your awards, people. So we're going to start with lettering. And lettering is a lot in band. We ask them to do a lot. And when you letter, you kind of have to go above and beyond even for what we expect everyone to do. So we're talking, these people have done solos in ensembles or pep band or been a section leader or been a jazz band or the musical pit or done something outside of the classroom or taken lessons. There's a couple people that almost filled up like the entire sheet of all the options. So we're going to start tonight with the freshmen. It's normally actually really impressive for a freshman just because it's kind of eye-opening when you walk in for marching band camp anyways for the freshmen and they kind of don't know what's happening or what they've gotten themselves into. And then for a lot of these freshmen to go above and beyond and do solos or do all district band or do NKC honor band, those types of things, it's really, really impressive. So these guys will get a certificate and then they get a chenille patch for letter jackets and then they get an Oak Park pin, which is actually probably the coolest pin that you can get in the school, I think personally, because it's our logo on a pin. It looks really nice. And then everyone gets a bar depending on what year they are that they're lettering on, freshmen through seniors. So we're going to start with freshmen. So we have Kevin, Ryder, Xander. Will you run that back? Isaac. Bryn. Lillian. So that is it for our freshmen. Let's give another round of applause for our freshmen level. All right, on to our sophomores. We have Sophie. Jasmine. Jada. Gabby. Abigail. Tristan. Zane. Quentin. Cameron. Justice. Camden. Drake. Josh. Don't step on the instruments, Kevin. Lauren. Derek. Audrey Mills. Aries. And that is it for our sophomore letters. Give them another round of applause. And let's get one more for all of our freshmen and sophomores, because they're going to have to sit down because there's no room. All right, good job, guys. You guys can find a seat for our new juniors and seniors. Good job. Thank you. All right, on to our juniors and seniors. We have Jay. Karsten. Alberto. Aislinn. Austin. Jaden. Hayden. Jackson. Liam. And Jacob. All right, let's give another round of applause to all of our junior letterers. All right, you guys can go ahead and take a seat because there's a lot of seniors here. We only have so much space. All right, on to our seniors. We have Kaylee. Lincoln. Brian. Right, and then I believe I've counted these right. Oh, sorry, Isabella, who's helping. And now we're on to Brian Wilbur, come down. Brian Wilbur. Now we're on to, I think if I counted all these right, we're on to our 4-year letterers of seniors. So these students have lettered all 4 years in high school. So it's a really impressive thing. You can think about all of the hours and time and all of those things that have gone into lettering for 4 years in a row. So really huge congratulations to these people. We have Mariah Mitchell. Joey. Casey. Brian. David. Whippy. Emily. Addison. Jake. And Cody. All right, let's give another round of applause for all of these seniors for lettering. All right, go ahead and have a seat, guys. Xander.
All right. Our next tune-up for the Symphonic Band is a march, and march is a huge part of our band heritage and the history of bands and the popularity of them in America and everything. And I kind of think of band marches as a little slice of Americana. While this march is not very old, it's patterned after those marches that are 100 years old, and it kind of has the same form and setup and has all the great musical styles that go along and follows those characteristics of a march. So I hope you enjoy American Volunteers.
turn the lights back on. Like the next group that we're going to be working with is a little bit changed. Students, I told you a little bit backwards. I want to save something for later. But we have like an insane amount of students participate in solo and ensemble this year. Easily the most that we've ever had here. There's actually a limit on how many you can have, and we were almost right at it. And it was really nice to see all the students like interested in, it just takes time. Those of you that have a student do solo and ensemble, you may have to tell them a couple of times to practice at home, but the amount of practicing that went into this. So the first group that we're gonna recognize is just the district people, and we have their district certificate. So we have the district people that went to Liberty, performed their solo or their ensemble, and received either an outstanding or an exemplary rating. So we're gonna start with our students that received an outstanding rating at district solo and ensemble. First up, we have Brian Wilbur with his euphonium solo. Alec Bott with the clarinet solo. Gabby Guillen with a clarinet solo. Jaden Burton with a clarinet solo. Josh Mayer with a bass clarinet solo. Sophie with a flute solo. Alberto with a clarinet solo. Jacob with a euphonium solo. Abigail Braun with a flute solo. Cameron with a tuba solo. Jada with a clarinet solo. Kevin with a trumpet solo. Lillian with a trumpet solo. Quentin with a trombone solo. Ryder with a bari sax solo. Zane with a tenor sax solo. Xander with a timpani solo. Karsten with a multi-percussion solo. Dexter with a drum set solo. Aislinn with a flute solo. And now we're on to our ensembles. I'm gonna have to try, there's no names on these, so I just have to remember. We have Jake and Kevin and Tristan and Jacob and Austin and Jackson with the brass sextet. We have Addison and Zane and Holden with a saxophone trio. We have Jake and Bryn and Ian with a trumpet trio. The trombone quartet of Hayden and Jackson and Quentin and Joey. Joey and Quentin are on tuba duty right now, but they do play trombone. All right, up next, let's give another round of applause to all of our students who received outstanding ratings at district solo and ensemble. Now we're on to our students who received exemplary ratings at districts, which also qualified them for state, which they went to just a little over a week ago. You guys can line up and stay up here because we got to give you all your stage stuff too. So first up is Lauren with a horn solo. Addison with an alto sax solo. Bryn with a trumpet solo. Hayden with a trombone solo. Jake with a trumpet solo. Jackson with a trombone solo. Jazz with a flute solo. Kaylee with a flute solo. Casey with a clarinet solo. Drake with a mallet solo. Isaac with a marimba solo. Elias with a marimba solo. And Lincoln with a xylophone solo. And now we're moving on to our ensembles that qualify for state. This is the saxophone sextet of Addison and Derek and Aries and Zane and Holden and Ryder. Keep going down, Lauren. Keep going down, Lauren. The flute trio with Kaylee and Justice and Sophie. The clarinet quartet of Jada and Casey and Alec and Gabby. I gotta have people going in front of us now. The Japanese percussion octet. Oh boy, that's 8 people that I have to remember. Drake, you know all the names? Drake will tell you all the names of the people on the Japanese octet.
You got Lincoln McInnes, Drake Suba, Elias Deshawn, Isaac Swafford, Dexter Shriver, Carson Flynn, and Xander Roca. And Philip Willard.
See, he was in it, and I would have had trouble too. All right, and then last up is another percussion octet. It's a lot of the same guys, but a couple different people also too from up on the stage. This is the Taiko percussion octet. This one is Drake Suba and Philip Willard and Xander and Isaac and Lincoln and Jay and Liam and Evan. And like I said, all of these people received exemplary. Let's get some sort of line here. Marching band. All right. Like I said, these guys all received exemplary, and then they got to go to state at Mizzou. I do have to say that it was like incredibly easy time taking these 30, people to Mizzou. In terms of like doing room checks, as you went on the trip know that like this is a really good group of kids to travel with. In terms of getting in the room in time, being where they're supposed to be, knowing where they're supposed to be for their performances, and all of them gave like really, really nice performances at state. I think some of them maybe did better than they thought. Some of them maybe had a couple little bobbles that they didn't think they had, but no one you never know what's going to happen at state when someone might get under the pressure and just kind of melt a little bit. And actually, they all kind of rose to the occasion and gave really, really good performances. We were running around like crazy all over Mizzou to try to see everybody. So either me or Mr. Durant saw every ensemble, it took a lot, and then they got Shakespeare's Pizza and it made it all better. So we're going to start with the groups that received a silver medal at state. And again, a silver, there's bronze, silver, and gold, so a silver at state is still a really, really awesome accomplishment. So first up is, well, he's not up here, I had your state one, but we have James Mueller on a piano solo. We have Lauren for a horn solo. We have Addison on her alto solo. We have Jake on his trumpet solo. Jackson on his trombone solo. Jazz on her flute solo. Kaylee on her flute solo. Drake on his marimba solo. Isaac on his marimba solo. We have the taiko percussion octet with a Silva Outstanding on stage on their performance. We're on to the saxophone sextet. They got an outstanding estate. And the flute trio of Kaylee, Justice, and Abby are outstanding on their performance. All right, let's give another round of applause to all of our silver medalists from state. Now we're on to our gold medal performances at state, and this is like really, I mean, these were really, really, really good performances. To get a gold at state, they don't just give those out like candy to anybody. So all these people give some really, really outstanding performances at state. First up is Bryn on her trumpet solo. And we have Hayden on his trombone solo. Casey with her clarinet solo. Elias with his mallet solo. Lincoln with his xylophone solo. And next up is another percussion octet. It is the Japanese percussion octet with Lincoln and Dexter and Isaac and Elias and Drake and Karsten and Philip and Xander. And then last up is the clarinet quartet of Jada, Casey, Gabby, and Alec. All right, let's give one last round of applause. I know it took a while, but it was definitely worth it. All right, you guys are good about have back.
All right, the last piece for the Symphonic Band to share with you this evening is by a kind of a classic band composers. Robert Sheldon, he has been writing music for several decades and just a classic band composer. This piece has a little bit of everything, a couple different elements. It's a good old-fashioned fast, slow, fast kind of piece. So we hope you enjoy Infinite Horizons.
up next is the wind ensemble. And we've got two of our three pieces tonight are new. And they are not very easy pieces. Like I said, we have very limited time to work in terms of like having the trip and all that stuff. And just while we're on the topic of that, I know a lot of you went on the trip and a lot of students did. I just have to say again, I said something afterwards, but like that trip was really, really fun. It was really, really nice. It was really, really cool to go places and know that, you know, everyone's going to do basically what they're supposed to do, and not have to worry about it, not have to tape doors shut, not have to check in every 3 hours in the theme parks. And it was really, really nice to know when we woke up one morning and a hallway was toilet papered by some less than ideal behaving group of students. It was really nice to know, like, without a shadow of a doubt, as soon as like everyone was like sending me pictures, they were like, it wasn't us, I swear. And they were sending me pictures like, look at our hallway, look at our hallway. It was like, well, I know 1,000% that that's not our kids. Like, our kids were like, are we supposed to clean this up? So that was really, really cool. And I told our tour guide, I was like, please go to the front office and tell them that this was not us, because I know it's not. And even she was like, there's no way this was you guys' kids. So really, really fun trip. Parents that went, thank you so much for counting them at the end of the night and bringing up the rear and making sure that, you know, no one got lost in the airport or left in the airport or left on the little tram at the Orlando. So thank you to everyone that went on that trip. That was a really, really fun trip, really, really awesome stuff. And it's just nice to be able to do that and have a good time. So the first piece that Wind Ensemble is going to play tonight is one that Mr. Dern and I heard a group play at MMEA, which is the state conference. And these are bands that get to get selected to make it to this, and they're the best of the best in the state of Missouri. And so I heard this piece, and I was like, I really like that piece. And then I was like, I think we can play this piece. But it is an incredibly hard piece of music. It's by a contemporary composer named John Mackey. We've played some of his stuff before. Normally it's angry sounding. This has got a little bit of anger in it, but it's also just like a really happy, toe-tapping, kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it, like a hoedown type like vibe. You'll see what I'm talking about. They haven't seen Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Most of them haven't, but like I think the audience, maybe a couple more of you guys have seen Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? So it's kind of got that vibe. This is Let Me Be Frank With You. All right, up next is when we recognize all of our seniors. So Xander, if you're up there, lights. So a couple things. We've got a really, really strong group of seniors this year, 20 of them. And like I said, when we talk about lettering, the amount of time and minutes and hours and sweat and effort and all of that stuff that they've put in over 4 years here, but almost all of them another 3 before that. So the seniors this year were 8th graders when I got here. Mr. Duran had to deal with like COVID times, so there, he had them, but he didn't have them during his time. But I got here when they were in 8th grade, so this is kind of the first class where I didn't see the brass class that much necessarily every day, but it was the 8th grade woodwinds were probably the first class that like I got to see every day, and I got to feels a little bit more like you raised them. We're really, really close with this class. They've been through a lot. They've seen a lot. They've helped build this program a ton over the 4 years that they've been here. So we have some cords for them, and they're going to come up here and they're going to wear these cords at their graduation, which feels like a very long ways away. So sorry, parents, I don't know what you're going to do with them for 2 weeks. But they've been a great help over the last 4 years. Some of them started out really strong as freshmen, and then some of them have really grown the last couple of years in terms of what they're contributing and the effort, like not the effort, but the time and demand that they put on themselves in the program. So we're going to be alphabetical order seniors, so just heads up, last names. First up is Jake Blanks. And Addison Cochran. We have Leela Kirkman. Emma Donegan. Joey Droptini. Lucas Ellerman. Kaylee Fouts. Isabella Johnson. Cody Justice. Casey Kufeld. Brian Mayer. Lincoln McInnes. Emily Mills. Mariah Mitchell. James Mueller. Kaylee Wynn. Carter Sanford. Dexter Shriver. Brian Wilbur. And David Withy. We have a tradition here on the seniors last night, and they know it, and sometimes they might not recognize it or they might not remember it. But in order to get through all these years, whether it's the 4 or the 6 years of middle school or the 6th grade center, it took more than just them. It definitely took more than just us. So we have a tradition here where they all get a flower, and they need to take it to someone that has helped them make it through. I say make it through, like, hopefully it wasn't making it through. But someone that helped them out, whether it's rides, buying an instrument. I know what that's like. My mom reminds me all the time. Buying an instrument, buying reeds, getting you to stuff, helping in marching band competitions. Someone out there has helped them succeed. Okay? So we have a tradition where they all get a flower and they bring it to someone in the audience, and it could be another student, it could be a teacher, it could be a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, whoever it is. So seniors, go ahead and take your flowers to your people right now. And let's give them a round of applause while they do that. As they make their way back, let's give one huge round of applause for our seniors of 2026. Thanks, Andrew. Gustav Holst is one of the earliest prolific band composers, and he wrote multiple suites for military band. This, if you happen to remember, last year this group performed the second suite. This year, performing the first suite. If you hop on YouTube, you can hear the finest high schools, the finest universities playing this type of music, and it's been around for many, many decades. It's kind of a staple in kind of the wind band repertoire. So tonight we'd like to share just the first movement of this. It's called the Chaconne from Holst's first suite in E flat. All right, before our last piece, we have a couple things. We're gonna award our senior scholarships, and then I know David White from BPA had a couple things to say. So every year we award 3 scholarships to some seniors, and again, you saw the seniors up here. It would be great if we had 20 scholarships to give because they all deserve it. But we have a couple of awards. The students have to fill out like kind of an application with all the things that they've done, achievements, ensembles they participated in, and then just kind of write an essay about like what has band done for you, and what would you tell someone about band, or what would you tell someone about why you're doing band, or why you've done band, and what band's done for you. So they have to think about it a little bit, and we give some of the essays to the BPA, and they look them over, kind of let us know. Again, everyone deserves something, but we only have 3 scholarships to give out. So the first one is just the Oak Park. You can leave the lights off, Sandra. They're going to be on stage. Thanks. The first one is just the Oak Park BPA Scholarship. And this year, this award and scholarship goes to Isabella Johnson. And the next scholarship goes to someone, this is the Pat White Scholarship. So if you don't know about the history of Oak Park, Pat White was the band director here for a very long time and did a very, very good job. And that was back when everyone, I feel like I know a million, every time I go somewhere, I run into someone that went to Oak Park High School and had Pat White. So he had a huge influence on the program, the importance that the band has in the school. A lot of that is owed to Pat White. And this year, this award goes to someone that's done basically everything. So it worked out really, really well. And I'm sure Pat White would have loved to have this person in the band. And this is Jake Blanks. And our last award is called the John Philip Sousa Award, and it is it's the award that every school gives out. Obviously, we know the name John Philip Sousa, instrumental in making wind band something that's very important in America. We know him a lot from his marches, but just what he did through marches and the importance that they brought to the wind band is the reason that we have high school band programs like this in this country. Most places don't have the type of thing that we have, and they don't have marching band like we have. So John Philip Sousa, an incredibly important person, and an incredibly important award. And again, this is incredibly hard to choose between these people. This is someone, let's do these. I'm trying to do the adult male thing of suppressing all of my emotions during this concert, but this goes to Casey Kubel. Now I will stop talking, and David can come take this microphone away from me, please. We have been trying to play it cool. We went as long as we could.
Can I talk about David real fast? Yes.
David White up here, our BPA president. Before we can hand it off the mic to some people, Mr. Kaufman already mentioned about the parent support on the trip and everything, but publicly, let's just take a second and talk about what David did. And that is, he drove a 26-foot rental box truck to Florida and back. Because of Southwest charging for bags, he saved all of us money, and so we appreciate you, David. Thank you for all of your work with the BPA.
I would also like to thank everyone who helps the BPA fundraise, because it cost a lot more than we thought it was going to. So thank all of you. Real quick, I'm going to be very brief. After the performance tonight, we would like to invite everyone to the cafeteria where we have a small refreshment. And it's just kind of a last little thank you for the band. Additionally, our last meeting of the year is going to be May 21st. And we're really excited to introduce you to our new board at that meeting. So if you haven't been to one, that's a really good one to go to. It'll be the last one of the year. We have a new board coming in, and you can kind of see and hear about some of the things we do as marching season winds up. Because when the BPA re-adjourns in the fall, marching season is incoming. So if you ever wanted to get involved and help out, please come to the next meeting. We'd love to see you there. The Oak Park band is outstanding. We've had a lot of outstanding moments along the way. I was going to make a joke that if your band director probably should have had a couple of hits of oxygen to get through his awards. Your band's pretty good. So I think everybody has a lot of outstanding moments and memories, and that's because of all these outstanding kids. And there's a couple of outstanding guys. Amanda, on behalf of the board, is going to present Mr. Coffin and Mr. Durham with a small token. Now, I do have a proposal for you. I've never conducted a piece of music, and I have no idea how hard it is to do that, but it looks pretty hard. So my proposal is that we hold our applause and let Mr. Coffin work, and then I think at the end of this number, we let him hear it. Thank you, everybody.
I'm gonna try to get through this without crying anymore. As a lot of you may know, all of the amazing directors are leaving Oak Park at the end of the school year. There's not enough words to express how much they've truly impacted us and how many others, and so many others. We know that they will do great in the next chapter, but we will miss them so much. They deserve everything and so much more. Because of that, we wanted to give you something to remember us and how much you left an impact on Oak Park. On behalf of me and the entire Oak Park Band program, thank you, Coffin and Durham, for helping us grow as musicians and as people. We will miss you guys so much.
Okay, we have one more song to do. Like I said, we've tried to tone it down just on the emotional stuff, just because, like I said, these seniors deserve all the recognition tonight. These kids deserve all the recognition. Like I said, when I said something out, this program has become so much more than two people. It's become, like Mr. Durham said, the band parent organization that is just like, I've been here 5 years. The growth of the band parent organization over the last 5 years has been unbelievable. It's taken a lot of weight off of our shoulders. The students, it's just, like I said, you take them places and nothing happens. It's just been unbelievable. I could say, the last 5 years, probably been the best 5 of my career for sure. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions and things like that, but we will always remember the time we've had here. We'll remember the things that we've done. We hope to keep seeing, if the kid's not a senior, and hopefully if they are a senior, we hope to see them doing something in music. But we are hoping to see all of these kids continue to do great things at the things we're in the area. So we're hoping to see these kids at solos and ensembles. We're hoping to see these kids at districts. We're hoping to see you marching band competitions. And we're hoping for all of the best for everything that you have. Please do not be strangers when you see us at stuff. We've been through too much. We've been through trips. We've been through props not working. And we've been through sound not working. We've been through thunderstorms. We've been through all of that stuff. So when you see us places, do not hesitate at all to come talk to us. And we will continue supporting Oak Park for as long as we're around. So thank you so much. We're going to end with music. I want to end with music and not me saying something like this and then just being like, and good night. So we want to end with music. This is an unbelievable piece of music that the Wind Ensemble's been working up. If you didn't hear them at the State Large Ensemble, this is an unbelievable piece of music. It's one of those things where like you hear this piece when you're like a young teacher and you're like, I'm never going to have a band that can play that. Like I'm never gonna be able to do that. Like that's college level stuff. And then for them to play it the way they played it and continue to play it and worked it up, and the feedback that they got at State Large Ensemble and stuff like this is a huge accomplishment. And again, it says a lot about them and just a little bit about me. So we're gonna end tonight. Again, refreshments out there, and check out all the senior posters, please, because I think they put a lot of work into them. So we're going to end tonight with a piece called Go by Samuel Hazo. All right, thank you again for a great concert. Thank you again for a great year. Thank you again for a great 5 years. We will see you guys later. And everyone, please go have refreshments. We'll be out. We can mingle and talk and do all that type of stuff. So thank you guys very much. Have a safe trip home.